Hi, everyone, and welcome to customsbreeze.com, where filling out your customs form is easy breezy and in the comfort of your own home. Today, we are going to be focusing our energy on the Bahamas. Um, this video is only going to be dealing with the C17 accompanied baggage declaration form. But for the Bahamas, there are two forms that you need to concentrate on: the accompanied baggage declaration form and the unaccompanied baggage declaration form. Now, some of you will only need the accompanied, but there are those who might be shipping things to a certain country, which is the Bahamas. But the Bahamas is not the only country that has an accompanied and unaccompanied form. So if you're going to be shipping anything, then you will need an unaccompanied form. But for today, we're only going to be dealing with the C17 accompanied baggage declaration form. Okay, so let's get right to it. And as you can see, I have already pulled up all the information that we need on the customsbreeze.com website. Now, before we get into the form, what I usually like to do is I like to look around the website and see if there's information that we need to get before we put pen to paper to the form. Um, what's happening nowadays, and it's a good thing, is that there are more and more digital platforms for the forms, so you don't have to fill it out, by hand. It's all done digitally, and that's a good thing. So it's something to keep in mind. And for the Bahamas, this is something that they also offer. But for our purposes, we're going to look at the C17 form, and we're going to see what's required of us so that while we're eyeballing the form and the information, we become better informed when we actually do get the form in our hand, or if we encounter the digital form. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look around, see before we fill out all the things that we need to know and what to expect. So here we go. We're in the C17 accompanied baggage declaration form section, and it's telling us each foreign visitor entering the Bahamas in possession of prohibited, restricted, or dutiable items must complete a Bahamas Customs C17 form, which is what we're going to be doing, the C17 declaration form. So travelers who only have used personal baggage in their possession must make a verbal declaration. So as you see, every country has their own way of doing things. And as you see here, it's telling you travelers who only have used personal baggage in their possession must make a verbal declaration. So that's what's required in the Bahamas if you're in this particular situation. But we'll get back to that later. So as I said earlier, you will encounter from various countries the digital version of the customs declaration forms. So passengers can now submit their declarations and disembarkation card electronically via the Exempt app, which is officially authorized by Bahamas Customs and the Bahama Ministry of Finance. So something to keep in mind. So we're going to scroll down and you'll see there's a summary of rules and regulations. So each foreign visitor entering the Bahamas in possession of prohibited, restricted, or dutiable items must complete a Bahamas Customs C17 declaration form. So now they're going to break down, why and what. So it says, regardless of being in possession of declarable items or not, each returning resident must fill a baggage declaration C17 form and submit the receipts for processing. So keep that in mind. So keep your receipts of the items that you have that are declarable. Okay, so all unaccompanied goods must be declared by filling the unaccompanied baggage form C18 prior to travel, so before traveling. But today we're not doing the C18, we're doing the C17. But like I said earlier, if you are, and I've said this in a previous video, if you are doing any kind of unaccompanied baggage, and which is basically considered cargo, and you're not with that baggage, you still have to declare it. So, and usually what they do when you do declare it, they have a separate form for that particular kind of luggage that is not with you, that is considered unaccompanied. Also, on the Customs Breeze website, we are covering words that you will encounter again and again when you fill out these customs forms or any kind of traveling governmental forms, that you may say to yourself, well, I really don't understand what this word is. So we are covering words that you will encounter, such as accompanied and unaccompanied baggage, monetary instruments, surname, given name, things like that, that some people may take for granted, where others will look at and say, I don't have a clue. So look on this website, thecustomsbreeze.com, and we have a lot of material, and we're constantly updating and putting more content on. So, get yourself familiarized with the website and see what you can use. Okay, so back to our form. So now they have here, well, let me just read down below here that returning residents who have been out of the country for 2 or more consecutive years seeking exemption from custom duties are required to fill Form RR1, but we're not going to deal with that right now. Okay, so further down on the list, free imports. So keep in mind what you do not have to declare and what they consider free imports. So personal goods, 200 cigarettes. Now, mind you, they're giving you specific amounts. So be very aware of that. They're giving you the particular items and the particular amounts. So if you go over that, then then you will have to deal with the customs officer. So they're telling you this is all that you can have for cigarettes, 200. That's it. Nothing more. Cigars, 50. Not more. So, and items with a value of and up to $100. Not more than that amount. So those are things you have to keep in mind. Okay, so now we're getting to the currency limit with Bahamas Customs. If you're traveling, it's mandatory for every individual or accountable family member to disclose whether they're carrying cash, negotiable instruments, precious metals, or precious stones worth BS $10,000 or more. So, like with many customs forms, they require that you declare your monetary amounts of $10,000 or more to customs. If you're below that, you don't have to declare. But if you are at that point and above, you must declare it. And that means in US money or the equivalent in foreign currency. So next section is the prohibited goods. So mind you, these particular things are on the form, but sometimes not all of the information is on the form. Sometimes you have to look up their website and their tourism website and the official Bahamas tour guide website so that you know all of the specifics that are required of you before entering their country. But for our sake, we're giving you the things that are most important, and we're not giving all, but we're giving some just to give you an idea. So in the prohibited goods section, it's foods that are not good for human consumption, pornographic material, copyright, articles with a style that resembles currency that is currently used in the Bahamas, counterfeit goods, weapons, drugs. And some of these things you'll see repeated on other customs forms. But there are some that are particular to the given country. For instance, the articles with a style that resembles currency that is currently used in the Bahamas. So they're very specific about that for that line. This pertains to the Bahamas. Okay. But anyway, so you have an idea. And we have the restricted goods, commercial goods, mechanical devices, arms and ammunition, trailers, firecrackers. Now, mind you, some of these things you cannot bring in, and some of them you can bring in, but you have to have special permission, or you have to be a person that this is part of your job, and you have the right to bring a certain amount in. But that's up to customs and the rules and regulations of that country to give you the okay to bring those particular things in. But if you don't fall into that category where it's part of your profession or you have special permission, then you can't bring these goods in, and they'll let you know. Okay, and as we scroll down further, you'll see our disclaimer. So read our disclaimer. And now we're going to get to the form itself. The number C17, accompanied baggage declaration. So they break down what it is that they're asking of you for the declarations. Please read that section. And here it is again. They're asking you for the duty-free allowances, what they are allowing you and how much. Rather, how much as in quantity. Okay, so in there, once again, the prohibited section. And this number 5, I should read out. So it's saying, warning, any person who makes an oral or written declaration which is false or incorrect is liable to penalties, and the goods concerned may be forfeited. So keep that in mind if you if you decide to lie about something and they catch you. This section that I'm highlighting, this is where you can get in a lot of trouble if they catch you. So don't lie. Be truthful. Declare what you need to declare so that you can have a wonderful vacation or whatever it is that you're going to be doing in the Bahamas. Okay. So here's his declaration form. And it says each person or responsible family member traveling is required to complete this form, and if traveling with cash or negotiable instruments, negotiable instruments is the same as monetary instruments, or precious metals, or precious stones, or a value equivalent to $10,000 or more, is required to read the notes on the reverse, meaning the reverse side of the form, before completing all items in this form. So, like I've said in previous videos, before you put pen to paper, always read what it is that that the form is asking you. So, do not automatically start writing. Read everything, understand it, and then start to write and fill things in. So before we start to go line by line, I just want to scroll down a little further so that you can see that we have, you can see that the form is short for us in the actual filling out of the form. So mind you, it says on the flip side, but for our sake, we kept it all in front so that you can see the whole thing just by scrolling down. Okay. All right, so here we go. Really simple, really easy breezy. Number one, family name. So, family name is your last name. Then, then it says first, which is your given name, and then your middle initial. Then your date of birth. And like I've said in many videos now, always look at the formation, the configuration of how they want you to put down the birth date and the signage dates, because some countries require that you put the month first, then the day, then the year. And this one's asking you the day, the month, and the year. So always be aware of that. Always look before you put pen to paper. So date of birth, day first, month, year. Nationality, you put into that section. Number 4, your passport number. Make sure that you check and double check your passport number, that you're putting the correct numbers on the line. Number 5, we are ordinarily resident in the Bahamas. And if you are, you put a yes. If no, you put a no. Now, your number 6 says airline flight, number of vessel. So for our purposes, we're talking about the airline. So for your airline flight number, all you need to do is look at your boarding ticket and it will tell you what the flight number is. Number 7, the address in the Bahamas. So wherever it is that you're staying, whether you're staying in a hotel, whether you're staying with friends and family, or you're staying at an Airbnb, put down that exact address. Number 8, household members for whom you are declaring. And that's self-explanatory. So you just put down who it is you're declaring, who's with you, and what is their relationship with you. You know, the family name, the given last, first name, middle initials. Okay, now number 9. We have cash or negotiable instruments and or precious metals or precious stones of a value equivalent to $10,000 or more. And if you do, you check yes. If not, you check no. And then of course you give its value. And they're giving you separate lines to put your cash or negotiable instruments. And remember, your negotiable instruments are your monetary instruments. That's the same thing as negotiable instruments. So you have any cashier's checks, promissory, money order, traveler's checks, those are negotiable instruments. Okay. Next line says for precious metals or precious stones, once again, you give its value. And then next is just you sign your name and you date it. And once again, be very aware of the formation in which they're asking you to date it. It's asking you day first, month, and then year. So if you're from the United States, you're very used to doing month, day, year. But this is not asking you that. It's asking you day, month, year. So be very aware of that. And that's it. So that is the C17 form, the accompanied baggage declaration form. And as you can see, very simple to fill out. Doesn't ask you a whole lot of things. You just have to read a few things ahead of time before filling anything out. And it takes you just a few moments. So I hope that this video was informative, and I hope that we've answered all of your questions. If you have any other questions and if you need to look at more information, I suggest you go to customsbreeze.com and you look at the area in which you're going to be traveling to find out more information. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining me for this video, and I look forward to seeing you for the next video. Have a great day.